Hello, and welcome back for another episode of Hunter Tuned. Today we're going to be doing the ECU portion of this turbo truck build. I'm going to try to cover some of it. I'm not an expert with Hptuners, but I do know my way around it. And yeah, let's just dive right into it, guys. So this is a 99 Chevy Silverado that was completely stock ECU and stock like harness and stuff, and I did modify the harness a little bit. I deleted the mass airflow sensor because I'm now running a turbocharger and I'm going to be converting the truck to speed density. Now, when you convert to speed density and delete the mass airflow sensor, you need to add an intake air temp sensor into where the mass airflow is plugged in. I covered this in a previous video, but short explanation of it is just get like a GMC Jimmy or any like GM car intake air temp sensor, wire the tan and black to the tan and black on the mass airflow plug, and there you go. That's pretty much all the modifications I did to the harness itself. Everything else is pretty much bone stock. Oh, I also deleted the EGR. This is just the EGR plug right here, and I deleted that, so that's not plugged in anymore. So we're just going to tuck that off to the side. And then I also deleted the evap purge solenoid, which was sitting where now my intake air temp is sitting. I deleted that, so that plug is just chilling right here. We're also going to be deleting that. And I also deleted all the O2 sensors on the truck, so it has no O2 sensors anymore, which is totally fine. It'll run just fine without them as long as we tune the fuel map accordingly. And you know, the changes with weather and stuff like that aren't as drastic as people make them, you know, come out to be. I tune whenever I tune like a turbocharged car or anything like that. I never run O2 sensors. I just have a wideband in the vehicle, and I watch the wideband accordingly. You know, whatever. I like doing that. It keeps it simple. It runs on the fuel map, and it's easier for me to kind of tune it without anything else trying to compensate. So, anyways, we're diving right in. We got a Hptuners cable right here. Sorry if it's a little dark in here, but this is the Hptuners MPVI cable. You will need to purchase one of these to tune one of these GM vehicles, and you just buy this guy. They're like 500 bucks. It's kind of expensive, but you can tune a bunch of vehicles with it, including Ford and Dodge as well. So I just got the Hptuners cable plugged into my laptop here, and I have the VCM editor pulled up. So this is the VCM editor here, and this is going to pretty much show your tune on your vehicle. So when you first plug in the Hptuners, you're going to plug it into the laptop and then turn the key forward and go to flash and then hit read vehicle, and then it'll go through the process to read the vehicle. And then once the vehicle is read, it will allow you to save your tune. And then I save my current tune just as the stock 6.0 truck tune. And now we have the full tune pulled up here, so we can just go into like engine parameters or engine diagnostics to clear engine lights or anything like that. Actually, the diagnostic stuff, where is it here? Yeah, the engine diagnostics, you can clear DTCs for like engine codes. So we're going to have to delete like all the O2 sensor codes. You'll just have to go on this and just click to the right where it says SES enable. I always click that off. And then I go to like MIL, just go to no error reported for like all the O2 sensors. I'll do that, as well as the EGR, all the things we deleted. And then the mass airflow, we want to leave, just put it on no MIL light. Don't put no error reported, because if you put no error reported on the mass airflow, the truck actually won't go into speed density mode. You have to leave the mass airflow part of the engine light. You need to leave it enabled, because if it's enabled and it sees that it's not there, then the truck will be like, okay, we have to revert to the map sensor for our readings instead of the mass airflow sensor. Hopefully that makes sense. That's just how these vehicles are. If you delete the mass airflow completely, it won't run at all. Or if you put like no error reported or whatever like that. So for all these mass airflow codes, we're just going to go to no MIL light and leave it at that. Hopefully you guys can see my computer screen. It might be a little blurry on camera, but if you guys have this pulled up at home, you'll be able to see it a little better. Like I said, I'm just going to go through all these O2 sensors, and I'm going to put no error reported on all of them. Alright guys, now that we have the engine diagnostic side of things out of the way, I'm going to be... Okay, so I went through all these, kind of just went through a lot of them and changed them to no error reported for all the ones that we're not going to be needing. Depends on your application what ones you'll need to delete, but you can just kind of run the vehicle for a while and determine what codes come on and what codes are important to you and what codes are not important to you, and just kind of delete them as you go. That's usually the first step that I'm going to do with all this. And then the next step is I'm going to go to the operating system here. So under OS in the corner, I'm going to open this up, and we're going to apply the speed density 2-bar real-time tuning code modification. So we'll click this guy, and then it comes up with the screen here that says to complete the HPT OS enhancement, follow these steps. You'll have to save the file with a new name, close the current file, and then open the new file. And then when you go to write this tune onto the vehicle, you have to use the write entire process to get the code modification to go through. So we're just going to hit OK on this guy, and then I'm going to go to save as, and this is going to be, I have the stock tune saved, and this is going to be my new tune that I'll just label Hunter 2-bar. We'll open that file up. I think it's already pulled up, but we'll just pull it back up here. And then we'll go to Flash, Write to Vehicle. So we'll have to turn the key forward for this. So now that the key's forward, we'll go down to here, and it says Write Calibration. We're going to hit Write Entire, and it says Brickable here. This is a thing where I've actually done it multiple times. You kind of just got to send it and hope for the best. Sometimes these ECUs can brick, which means they'll be completely unusable, and they will just completely shut you out. It happens a lot of times when your battery is junk, like if your battery doesn't maintain proper voltage, or if you have an old battery, or if you have like your heater on or cooling fans or anything like that on while you're writing the tune, it can brick the ECU. So make sure when you're doing this, just have no like big electrical load draw on the battery, and make sure that your battery is a good working battery. Don't hook it up to a battery charger, just have a good battery, and I don't think you'll have issues. But yeah, we're just going to write this guy another minute here, minute and 20 seconds, and then once this is done, I'll pick back up. I'm going to have to install a 2-bar map sensor into the truck. So I'm going to go get my map sensor. We're going to install the 2-bar sensor, and then once the 2-bar sensor's in, we're going to see if it fires up and runs. Alright guys, so I'm back, and it's been a few days since the last clip there. I apologize. We had some issues with the truck and the tune because the 2-bar sensor that I purchased on eBay actually did not work. It was a faulty sensor, and I ended up switching it out for a 3-bar map sensor from EFI Source. It's actually the sensor that I had on my Mustang, but since the Mustang doesn't run right now, I just am borrowing it from the Mustang to run it on the truck temporarily. And I installed the 3-bar sensor into the truck, and everything was good to go, but I had to redo the tune completely and pretty much go over the steps that I just did, and write a new operating system to it and change it to 3-bar speed density instead of 2-bar. Everything else is pretty much the same. The only difference with the 2-bar to 3-bar is the resolution on the VE table, which the VE table is the volumetric efficiency table, or your fuel table. So anyways, I wanted to kind of go over some of the stuff that I did do to the tune to get it to run and have everything working. I already went through the engine diagnostic stuff with you guys to delete engine codes and all that kind of stuff. But the rest of it, to get it running, you definitely, since we have decap fuel injectors now, we had to change the fuel injector size. So if you go under engine and then fuel, you can actually go to flow rate versus KPA, and you can change these numbers to 75 to 80-ish, anywhere in this region here. This just pretty much scales the table from left to right based on fuel pressure. So if your injectors, like the decaps or whatever, they flow around 80 pounds, 70 to 80 pounds, depending on what injectors you have or how much they float or whatever. Anywhere in this ballpark, 70 to 80, will get you running and everything happy. So I had to change the flow rate versus KPA table. And then I also went in and I don't know what else I changed. And then I also actually got a base tune off of the Sloppy Mechanics wiki page, and I actually used Justin Kramer's Volvo. He had pretty much the same size turbo, 80-pound injectors, and a 3-bar map sensor, and I took that tune, and what you can do on Hptuners is you can actually open a compare file. So if you go under the top here, there's this little envelope with a red check, and it says open compare file. You just open compare file and then check the file that you want to use as a compare file. So anything off the Sloppy wiki is usually a good start. And once that's opened up, you can actually go through and change anything that may be different between your tune versus the compared tune. And you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. I'm sorry, I don't have screen capture stuff set up right now. I'm just kind of trying to get a video out for you guys, because if I don't, people yell at me. Anyways, the checkpoints here, you can actually open them up and scroll left to right between the two tunes and see the differences between the two with these features up here. And if you have a difference in the two tunes or whatever, it's going to show green, like the box is going to light up green. And if they are the same, it's going to light up red. So I don't know if I have anything on here that's the same or not, but you can kind of just go through and look at all the different parameters and stuff like that to kind of get you going and to see where everything is set on somebody else's tune versus yours or whatever. And I usually use like one of Sloppy's base tunes, and I copy everything over that's different to get me started. And then once everything is like started and everything's kind of the same as his, I kind of just go through it and mainly just tune the VE table. So under airflow, you have airflow here and then main VE. You can hit the main VE table and tune. This is your fuel map, just like on Honda or Chrome. If you guys haven't watched my Chrome tuning video, I did like a step-by-step tune with Chrome. Kind of the same concept with this. Once you're on the fuel map and everything is good, it's kind of the same thing. Just tuning a fuel map. So this table is pretty much based off of the same thing, map sensor versus RPM, just like a Honda is. And I tuned the fuel map accordingly to what the truck really wanted. So, I mean, if at this area here is like, idle, like this is like the idle region in here, and that's your idle area. And then as you're driving around, I open up my scanner and I do data logging to kind of, see where the map sensor is. You can look at the KPA at what RPM and then stare at your wideband to be like, hey, at this KPA and this RPM, I'm running a little bit rich. I need to take fuel out, or I'm running a little lean, I need to add fuel in. That's kind of just basics of what I do. I don't like set up the O2 sensor or anything on Hptuners. I haven't done that with Hptuners yet, and like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm not an expert with Hptuners, but like I said, I do know my way around it enough to get cars tuned and to get them working properly. So obviously from one car to another, the fuel map is going to need some adjustments. I kind of just went through and smoothed the fuel map out, and then once it was smoothed out, I kind of just took chunks and added fuel or took fuel out or whatever. And yeah. And then I ran into issues with the truck where I would come into boost, like, I don't know, at 0 pounds of boost, or right in vacuum right before boost. The car was running perfectly. It was running like a 14.5 air fuel ratio. Everything was good. And as soon as it crossed over into boost, it would dive rich, and it would dive like 11.0. And usually when I tune cars, I like to work them in. I like to work the fuel in slowly. I don't like to just slam it with fuel as soon as it comes into boost. So 1 or 2 pounds of boost at light load, I usually like to work it in. So like a 13.0, and then as we get to 2 pounds, a 12.5, and then 4 pounds, 12.0, 5 pounds, 11.5. You get the idea with how I like to work the fuel into the motor. It just makes it smoother, in my opinion. And it was kind of tricky with the way that the tune was set up, because these cars actually have what's called fuel enrichment, or power enrichment. And if you go under fuel on Hptuners and go to power enrichment, there's this enable the power enrichment thing here, and it'll enable at anything over 90 kPa. So like anything coming into boost really. And then you can set up the throttle percentage when it kicks in, and then you can set up your EQ ratio for power enrichment, which is what your air fuel should be when it comes into power enrichment. So like if you're shooting for an 11.5 or something like that, you'd want to set all that at 1.28. In my case, just to make it easier on myself, I deleted the power enrichment and I deleted the boost enrichment. And to do that, you pretty much set all these EQ ratio tables at 1.0. And once that is set to 1.0, you also want to do it to the boost enrichment part of the table. So I set this EQ ratio also at 1.0. Just to kind of make it simpler on myself, I didn't have anything else compensating in the tune, and I could just tune the fuel map. Because with the boost enrichment and power enrichment kicking in, the car would go super rich, even though the fuel table was gradual and it shouldn't have been going rich, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of there to add on to the fuel table. So power enrichment and boost enrichment will add on. So if you have 1.28 set up on the boost enrichment, it will add 28% to your VE table, if that makes sense. And the way that this turbo is and all this kind of stuff, I had to take fuel out of boost on the VE table, which made the table go from like so like down here where it's 100 kPa on the fuel table, I would have to take these numbers here, like 78, 77, 79, 88, 97, right here where it's highlighted. I would have to take from like 105, and these numbers would be smaller than 77. It'd be like 70, 65, you know what I mean, and then 65, and then it'd start to go up. So I had to take fuel out so the fuel map wasn't smooth. And I didn't like that because I tune a lot of Hondas, and Hondas are a little bit more simpler than this stuff, where you just have a fuel map. And you tune the fuel map accordingly to what the car wants, how big the turbo is, and all that kind of stuff. And I just have a lot of experience tuning a fuel map in that aspect, so I didn't like having something else interfering with the fuel map. Just like with the O2 sensors and stuff like that, guys, where you have compensations added. There's a whole list of things on Hptuners that have like compensations and all that stuff that you have to go through and delete. And I can make a frickin' 2-hour-long video on all the different tables on Hptuners. If you want me to do that, I will, but it's just super time consuming, and I didn't want to. I had a goal in mind for this truck to do this weekend, and I kind of just wanted to focus, and I didn't really film anything, so I'm sorry. But I'm kind of just wanted to go over some of the basics with you guys of the fuel table. And like I said, I don't fully understand this stuff, so it's harder for me to explain it. I get it in my head, and I understand what's going on, but you don't fully know something, or you don't understand it good enough until you can explain it to other people. And I kind of realized that myself a little bit trying to film some of this, because with Hondas and stuff, I've done so many of them that I can just whip off whatever and it makes total sense. But there's so much going on with Hptuners compared to Chrome or Hondata that it's a little bit harder to explain and get you guys to actually grasp it. So I'm hoping some of this stuff helps some people out. If it doesn't, I'm wasting my time, I guess. But, yeah. So anyways, I just deleted power enrichment and boost enrichment, and I'm just tuning the fuel map accordingly to what the car likes. It's easier for me that way. Some people don't do it this way, but it's just the way I'm doing it. You can do it whatever way you feel is easier for yourself. Now, some stuff with the transmission I also messed with, such as like the shift points and stuff, and you can just go under transmission here, and then you have like a whole list of tables that you can mess with. Shift scheduling is one of the things I messed with, like when the truck shifts when I'm wide open, I set it to 5500 instead of the 5200 or whatever it is. just to get a little bit higher shift points out of the truck. And I also played with the torque converter lockup. So under torque converter, you can go to like apply release speeds here and set when the torque converter locks up. And I pretty much deleted all the spots where the converter locks unless it's in 4th gear. I hate when the damn torque converter locks up when I'm like going 35 in town and then it has to come in and out of lockup all the time. It's just annoying. And I don't care to have the torque converter locked up unless I'm on the highway cruising down the road. That's really the only time it makes sense for me, especially with a stock converter. It just didn't make sense to keep it locking up, you know, in town and shit. So I just locked up the converter on the highway above 60 miles an hour and in 4th gear. And everything seems to work good. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope I helped you out a little bit. If I didn't, I'm very sorry. There's a lot of good Hptuner videos out there. If you guys want to check out Sloppy Mechanics, he has a few of them. I know A21 Bravo has went into great detail with Hptuners, way more than I have. And mad props to you, man, because I can't film this shit worth the fuck, because it's a lot harder for me to film Hptuner stuff because there's so much going on. I feel like I'm way over everybody's head when I'm doing Hptuner stuff. Like I tried showing Christian and Michael and stuff, and they look at me like what the hell is that, or what are you doing? And there's like 1,000 different things I'm doing on the computer that they kind of just didn't get. But I got it tuned up pretty easy and everything's working great. So honestly, I'm confident enough to tune any vehicle on Hptuners, but it's just hard for me to explain it, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I'll work on trying to film more of this stuff, guys, but it's just, like I said, it's tough for me to try to film it and capture all the good stuff. Maybe if I run out of content, I can just do Hptuners videos and do basics and do like one category at a time kind of thing. Like, oh, spark on Hptuners. What compensations come in with spark, and power enrichment table, or just anything. Setting rev limiters, setting fucking transmission shift points. All those could be separate videos, and I think that'd be a better way to tackle all this instead of trying to just plodge it all into one damn video, because, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully have another video tomorrow with the Honda, or maybe more with the truck. But it is tuned up pretty good. I'll get some pulls in for you guys maybe tomorrow or the next day, and show you how she's doing. But I think I got to turn the boost up a little bit. I think I got to turn the boost up on the truck just a little bit, because it's only on 3.5 pounds of boost, and it's quick, but it's not like enough, you know what I mean? So I might turn it up to like 8 or 10 pounds, and then we'll leave it there, and then maybe we'll go into some more Hptuner stuff then. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night, and subscribe if you guys are new. Like this video if it was helpful, and see you later.